Hey, welcome back. Right, it's Friday today, but I ain't doing nothing over the weekend apart from, if you remember the solar array I was trying to put together that didn't happen, I did pay a fair bit of money for a linear actuator. And as some of you might know from previous episodes, if you're watching still, we're having problems with the hydraulics. The rams pump too fast and it's nudging the frames inside and locking and just generally being a nuisance, to be honest. So what I'm going to do over the weekend is just an experiment, and I may not film it, but if it's successful, I'll explain it and show you. I think I might take one of the rams off, temporarily fix an actuator and buzz that in and out a few times and see how that pans out. In the meanwhile, next week we are going to start the deck. I've done the yard today. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any checker plate. I had some set aside that I had my eyes on. When I say set aside, I had my eyes on it, but I never really made much of a big deal about it at the time. Fortunately, sold it, and I was really narked about that today. But we've got some more of those sides, as you can see, and we've got some tread plates from a tailgate. Those lifts, well, these are lorry lifts, and that's more than long enough. The downside is though they're a little bit on the heavy side. I'm having a bit of a I'm having a little bit of a debate at the moment in my mind whether to get the plasma cutter out and hack off all of these lobes, because I'm not sure if I need them. But then it leaves me with a massive problem of having to sand down each and every single one of them. It's Sunday morning. Funny old week last week, full of disasters in the circle of friends, and yeah. Anyway, let's hope this week will be a better one come Monday. At the moment, it ain't looking that way with the truck I'm referring to. These slide outs ain't working, guys. I done that ram yesterday because I wanted to put that actuator on there. There's no way that actuator is pushing this weight. That's just too heavy, and everything underneath it's just so damn stiff. When I made these, you could push them in and out with your hands and your fingers. They were that light. Anyway, me being the dickhead that I am sometimes, forgot that I'd undone the ram, pushed, and gone and bent all the bloody frame up. So now I've got to cut that off and I've got to weld a new one on, because I don't think I can straighten that. Probably can't see this, but I unbolted this yesterday and the ram hydraulics got stuck and it bent that whole frame bit in. So now it's got a crease in it. But I did also say to you guys quite categorically that I would give this actuator a crack, and I've just tried it, and to my astonishment, well, I'll show you. Let me just set it all up. Try and imagine 3 of these pushing it. There was one on there. Hang on a minute. Wires keep falling off. They're only lightly resting. I think that's a £1,700 linear actuator. I think I'm going to need 3. 1 extra to be safe. 2 will do it. 3, well, you've got to remember I've got to pull it in, and it's very stiff at the very end, and I haven't got to the bottom. Why? It's very quiet. It's extremely slow, which, if I'm honest, is what I need. So we don't need cable drive. We don't need hydraulics. As far as I'm concerned, 3 of them is good enough. See, it's shifting, just not very fast. There we go. Well, I think the auto shut kicked in. So I think we have answered our own question. How to push slide outs out simply. The linear actuator idea I like. It wasn't pounds that I was talking about in weight, it was newtons. Got a little bit muddled up as usual. The only other option is to replace the hydraulics, but they're too damn short and it's getting expensive. So it really only leaves me with linears, but the problem with 3 linears is if one of those packs up, just one, it could devastate the other 2. Because you've got to imagine, right, all 3 of them are moving. Let's just say a motor has got water in it, and I'm going to sort that out, but just assume one's got water in it or the brushes are worn, because I don't think they're brushless, and it's driving it back. Middle one breaks. The other 2 are going to continue to pull, and they're going to keep on pulling. Now, I'm not expecting the metalwork to bend up on that, but I am expecting the linear to bend up on that. The worst that can happen is the broken linear will just bend in half and snap. The very worst that can happen, the dreadful worst that could happen, you know, this is going to cost me a fortune, is the other 2 linears will pack up at the same time. They'll grind their motors up, they'll burn out. I've got to put a safety system in there somehow, either a quick blow fuse or a heat fuse or something. I need to put something in there. So if any of you guys have got some ideas on that I can link up to 3 linears to stop them from melting, I'd be grateful for that. I'm wondering if there's some kind of heat switch that I can put in, so when the wires get hot or the motors get hot, it shuts off automatically, sends the power to an LED inside the cab, so the LED will come on and it'll tell me which one has malfunctioned. Other than that, I don't have any ideas, because if let's say the middle one is blown and the other 2 are still pulling, well, the middle one ain't going to light up, is it? Because it's blown. End of story. So the other 2 will light up, which will tell me the middle one is at fault. The other problem is with a lot of slide outs is a lot of manufactured slide outs have got screws on the side of the motors where you can wind them and you can pull everything in by hand. I won't have that function on them at all. So what I am also going to have to do, reluctantly, I might have to put a winch under there and put an eyelet on the outside of the frame. So if those linears break at any point, I can climb under. I can physically pull the slide out if it's not all the way in. That's not hard. But what I'll probably have to do is put a winch under there with a ratchet strap attached to it, or a cable or something, and I'll have to disconnect all 3 linears if I can't get that to move, and we'll have to use the winch to pull the slide out in, and then that will also hold it in, and then we can fix it when we get back. So I've got to put a backup system in there somewhere. The downside to all of this is if one linear goes and I'm not aware of it, all 3 of them are likely to break. On the pull side of things, if one goes, it will probably bend that broken linear in half. If the strain is too much for the other 2, I'm hoping that the flimsy brackets that I'm thinking about putting on will snap. That's the only thing I can come up with. Or I'll put some shear bolts under there so that it just breaks the bolts. If it's doing it on the push, it's liable to bust all 3 linears. So, and if I can't slide it out, then I can't slide it out, or at least it's stuck in and I travel out. There is a tool coming tomorrow specifically for this job. I'm also going to pull out the Evolution table saw. Got a new blade coming for that, and we're probably going to use that to cut some of this alley down because it's too wide. Well, I don't quite know really where to start with this. The deck, basically. I've stripped off all the bracketry, which is that little lot there. They're stainless steel. I might be able to use those when I do the sides. I might strip off all the little bare bits of metal that you see here, and maybe put some hinges on them, and then fix my next load of brackets, which will be made of alley to that. Right, I've had to join 18 foot long, and I could have gone as far as that, but it would have been tiny. So I've had to join on another bit, but I ain't got nothing that matches this. I mean nothing. So I've done the best I can with it, and this other one I put on is just a fraction bigger. See the lump? That could be a nuisance later. I don't know. But what I think I'll do is we'll have them that way up. Having it this way on the lorry is going to put me an inch over the cab at the front, but I am putting some air horns on which will raise the height anyway. I want them on the roof, made me mind up on that. And I think what I might also do is put a metal bar with a very sharp bit of flat welded to it, so if I hit trees, I'm hoping it will snap the trees and not smash my solars. Now if I make the solar panel part actually fit inside, we won't get any extra height. If I'd have done it down to here, to be honest, by the time I got the floor in, the solar panels would have sat there, which would have still been a couple of inches over. So either way I don't win, so we might as well just leave this as is. And I think instead of laying these flat on that outside edge, I think we're just going to butt weld them all up like we did on the solar array, or the solar panel holder at the front, and we'll have all of these showing at the top, which are all different, and there's nothing I can do about it, and we'll just have to live with it. The framework is still going to overlap. I can cut these down if I have to, and it might be a good idea to do that, the ones that go widthways, because we do need that lower, so as when the arms get bolted onto here, they'll go past that high bit and sit. I mean, we still could lower them widthways, but I'm winging it as I go along. We will see. Whatever I do, these are going to be really close to the floor of the roof, so we'll see where we end up. So next is to cut these down to 18 foot. Two are cut now, 8 foot. I'll admit I don't like that at all, but it's strong, ain't going to fall off in a hurry. That's going to be at the front anyway, if I can remember to put it at the front. The next thing to do is to measure up and cut those two into the widths with a couple of inches overhang, so I need to go on the roof now. Alright, that's all I can do today. It looks like the weather's going to give up on me. So what we've done, we've cut 2 pieces for the mid sections, 2 pieces for the long sections, with the intentions of having a small overhang over the glass window that you see on the slope to act as a shade for that, because the sun blows through there like you wouldn't believe. I've had to put an extension on, which I kind of got a little bit wrong, so we might have to cut that off and put another one on and get it more square this time, but we'll see if that becomes a problem. I've sanded this all back smooth because there was all sorts of muck on this. I have had to weld up a few blowholes, can't really do much with those other than just drill them out, but here I managed to weld them up. Another one here, there was a weak point that needed to be rid of. We'll hit that with a sandblaster to get the corrosion out, and then we'll hit it with some acid primer and go from there. I've managed to get the inside edge as well a little bit, but my wire brushes are not thin enough. So yeah, that's where we got it. I'm quite happy with them, if I'm honest. Haven't sanded the outsides yet, they're still grubby. I want to do those with a DA. These are wire brush back, but I want to DA the other half. This will get DA'd again anyway, just to get it a bit smoother, but it should give it a brushed look when I spray the primer on. And I'm not going to worry too much about these, because we can always put a piece of alley riveted over the top to hide all of that. It's not an issue. And I may very well do that, or use them areas to hold the mounts. I think we're going to put 4 mounts on and 2 props. So I'm going to make 2 props out of these stainless steel things, if I can get them to work. If they're long enough, I don't know yet. If they're not, I'll have to revert to this thing here. We might have to cut this all up and get those off and use them as props. They're struts. They're going to go right on the end of the long pieces under here, and they're going to go at an angle on to the slope area somewhere, just to hold that thing up in the air. Welcome back. Another crazy day in the workshop with Adventures with Motive. Look, this has been eating at me all night. Remember that one I welded on? I got it so cranky and out of tune, I can't live with that. I've got to go. We've got to redo that. I'd say the welding is slightly better progress than what I have been getting. I still want more speed out of that gun, but can't get it. That didn't go so well, but I didn't clean it very well. That's what happens when you don't clean it. And I found that using these, if you haven't got access to a wire brush stainless, these will clean off nicely. So yeah, we'll just grind that down a little bit. What I did is I put a V in So the alley was a bit thinner because I just can't get the heat to work, because I can't get the speed on the gun. If I get the speed, I'll whack the heat up, but at the moment I cannot do that. That one's sorted now, a lot better. Look, we've got a bit of an issue here, and I'm just trying to, well, not so much an issue, more of a dilemma. They've got to go in like that, but the problem is we're putting some pivots there with some arms that will go on the outside edge, and then the solar panels framework will be made. Excuse me. The solar panel framework will have to sit within this. I'd like to have it at that angle, but it ain't really going to work, so I think we're going to have to turn that one over and notch it in so that one sits on top thus. That way I've got extra height to play with, so and I'll just have to make a metal bracket or steel bracket of some sort, but we did speak about that with stainless. So that is the first notch ready to slice. I'm going to cut that out with a circular saw, and we'll lay that on top of the flat one, and we'll grind back with the sanders, and we'll weld it. Simple as that. So to cut it, I now need to do a review, so it's time for the review. Black & Decker 400 watt mini circular saw. This is a non-sponsorship review. Black & Decker mini circular saw, a BE S510K 400 watt corded compact 85mm mini circular saw. First impressions, good strong sturdy case, instruction manual, not that you're going to need one, extractor for a hoover, yeah, nice and light, yeah, comfortable to hold. Also comes with a guide, and it's numbered, so you've got measurements, Allen key. Okay, technical data. Input voltage is 230 volts. Power input is 400. Sorry. Power input is 400. No load speed is 3,600. Maximum depth of cut in millimeters is 27. Blade diameter in millimeters is 85. Blade bore in millimeters is 10. Blade tip width in millimeters is 1.2. Maximum material capacity, wood in millimeters 27. PVC in millimeters 13. Aluminium in millimeters 3. Weight bare unit, kilograms 1.92. Sound pressure is 93 decibels. Sound power is 104 decibels. So that's pretty much it on the technical side. We won't go too far into that. Right, point down here. So you have a depth. So you can set your depth any way you want on the machine doing that. Okay. You've got a safety switch, you have to push in first and then click across, and then you can glide across. There isn't a great deal to this, to be honest. You have a holder for your Allen key to remove the blade, and you have a lock on the side here in order to lock the system, so you can, there you go, so you can then undo that and pull everything out. There is the option to undo those if it's all in the way, but absolutely no reason why you need to do that. The fence, or the guide, sorry, you undo and you use supplied Allen key to notch that up, and then that is set. You could also, if you wanted to, drill 2 holes in that, put a larger diameter piece of wood, which would help with the guide a lot neater. They're mainly for cutting up small pieces of wood, really, plywood, decking boards, anything like that is good, as long as it doesn't exceed the depth of what it is capable of doing. Me, I need this for aluminium. Why did I get this? 2 reasons. I've got to cut a load of aluminium sheeting, checker plate and whatnot. Well, I say checker plate, there isn't any. I've had to use aluminium deck boards instead. The other reason is this came from Littlewood's catalogue, and that was the only one available. I've had a Black & Decker grinder for a year and a half now. I normally blow them up pretty damn quick, but that has survived. The early Black & Decker stuff that I've had in the past, and we're talking like 15 years ago in the past, hasn't really survived me very well, but let's hope that they've improved on their production. So we'll use it for about 6 months, and then we'll come back to this review, redo the review again, and then we'll do an update of how this thing has performed. So I hope I've answered all your questions. This blade is a TCT, tungsten carbide tipped, good enough for the aluminium, not made for steel work. I wished Evolution would make one, because I know we're in for a good time if we did. That's about all I can say, really. End of review. I want to skim this if I can, so we'll set that up to maximum height. Oh, the other thing I didn't point out is the guard. There's your hand control to lift the guard to get it clear. Right, let's try this. I'll tell you, it feels very weird because it's so small and it's got not a lot of power in that blade. Let's set that depth a bit deeper. There you go. Cool. Right, it's cut. I only have one complaint. The bloody lead ain't long enough. They really could do with making that lead a little bit longer. I had a little bit of a wobble there. But other than that, yeah, that's come out fine. So we'll just wire brush that back a little bit, straighten up some of the cuts. It's the first time I've ever used it, so I'm so used to having something that's heavier than that to cut, but having that small diameter blade is absolutely perfect for jobs like this. And I reckon when it comes to cutting plywood for the truck, I might get a cordless version of this. So as obviously DIY stores, this will be a cinch. I'm pleased with that. I am very pleased with that. I do not have a single complaint, apart from this lead is just too blasted short. Okay, this didn't go quite the plan. I did clean all the alley up on the outside, but the problem is I can't get to the inside. So some of that muck has followed its way out. It's strong, but it's ugly and it's not great. I mean, they're all the same, as you can see. None of them really went that well. The other problem is I can't get enough speed on the wire feed. It's a nightmare. I got it on full setting on the speed, but I had to turn the heat down because it was backfilling into the nozzle. It's a real pain in the butt. Welding on some has come out a bit better. Down there at the black, oh, I can't remember what they call it, but that's bad. But this side didn't come out so bad. That one we ground down because we cocked it up, but it's strong enough to stay. I would say that one was probably the best one, possibly. No, I reckon that one. Yeah, definitely that one. But it is what it is, so it's strong enough to go up on the roof. that's roughly how it will look. We've got the sides overhanging, there is a reason for those. That will be explained later. I've just rung the yard up. I can't really do much with these. There's concrete stuck to them. I thought these were tail lift, they're not, they're drop sides to a truck. And they're covered in concrete. It's a bloody nuisance. So tomorrow, actually today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly measure up on the roof and I'm going to weld 2 of them together and just put a beam across the middle, so where that hatch is going to be, that can butt up somewhere near where that beam is. And if we've got I might have to bring another one of those home tomorrow, excuse the noise, bring another one of them home tomorrow or something and do another piece to go across. But I need more of these. When I was talking earlier, next door was doing her mowing. Lovely lady. Anyway, all of a sudden I could smell motor burning. She's just blown her mower up. So I lent her mine. But in the same time I was sort of chuckling about it because, you know, you do. You're a bloke. I laughed. Well, Mrs. Karma got me back. I'm sitting here, I'm grinding this all down nice and happily. And all of a sudden, noise. Just smoked me grinder. I was going to do you a review on this one. And I was going to do 2 comparisons with that old Black & Decker and this one. I've had that about 2 years, come from a charity shop. And I've just picked this up. I believe it's probably identical. 720 watt that one. What's this one? Hang on, I can't see because I've got the wrong glasses on. 900 watt. There you go. Karma. Mrs. Karma, you're a bitch. But anyway, welded. Ground down flat. That one going in the middle. I've just got to make some measurements on the roof. And then I'll cut some notches out if I can. And then we'll take that back up the top, which is an absolute nightmare to do. There's nowhere to put it. And we'll attempt to put a beam across. I am going to need another one to go that way. And unfortunately, I only have that offcut and that offcut left. I don't know at this point in time if that's going to be enough to reach. There's a couple of little off shots under there, but we'll see. Hopefully that'll be enough. I've rung the yard up. They're having a hunt for some more of that stuff without concrete on it, because I can't use it, not really. I mean, I will if I have to, but it's a nuisance. The welding that I've already done, it ain't great, but I'm not going to grind that down. I'm just going to wire brush it back. I'm not ashamed of it because I'm learning. Maybe once I've learned, if that day ever comes, I may look at it and be embarrassed by it. But at the moment, I am not. Okay, we've got the last brace being cut. I've got to weld them 2 in as yet. But we've got a bit of a problem. I've got to get on the inside this time to clean some of the muck out, because that anodizing doesn't work very well on the welder, as you can probably appreciate. I've got a needle file here somewhere, but I think it's outer discs, sanding belts. But anyway, we've had to make a join there because I'm on scrap now. It's going to be hidden underneath, so it's not worth worrying about. And so yeah, that's basically where we're at the moment. I'm just going to weld in that last brace, but that's not going to be easy to do because I'm going to be welding also on this edge here, and as you can see there's anodizing in there that I can't get to. I will attempt to grind it out as much as I can, but I'm not expecting it to be too successful. Okie dokes, power is dwindling on the camera. These treads, I do not know if they're going to make it on here as yet because of the amount of concrete that's still encrusted on them. I need to get another 3 more, but the other problem is they're flipping heavier than I thought, and has made this whole unit significantly heavy. Bearing in mind also that we're putting solar panels on this, as well as 2 fences that fold up and down as guide rails, although we'll be running a rope across this side and a rope across that side. So with that in mind, I'm going to have a little snout around the yards and see what else I can find. In the meanwhile, we will get this frame up on the roof and we'll mark it so we can cut the angle alley. I want to get about 6 pieces on there somewhere welded, and then what I'm going to do I was going to put these on first, but they're heavy, and I have since realised that I can rivet down on that lip, so they will just need to be sealed with sealant to stop them from rattling, really, and we'll go from there. So yeah, the frame can go up before the floor can go in, so that will give me all of next week to figure out what we're doing about the floor. I could even go as far as just putting some cheap weatherboard plywood up there and just remove it when it's knackered and just keep changing it, but I need something a little bit more substantial. So that is pretty much it for the moment. Can't do no more. I have run out of welding wire. We're done. The spool's empty. There's 2 reels I've gone through on these 2 items that I've been building for the roof. We were just getting ready to put these on with a little gap underneath there to let the water flow. I cut them all out. Look ready, look. Just got to clean them up. Bit too thick for my welder though. I can only do what we can do. So that's it. Until I get some more wire, which is probably going to be, depending if I can persuade the wife to help tomorrow, because we're getting a big wire brush, 115mm wide wire brush, so we can cut through all that bloody cement. I've got to get down the yard tomorrow, get another 3 more of them. So we're off to Elmer's. That's the only place that does the wiring. Tool Station stopped stocking it. Screwfix has stopped stocking it. Wilco's don't stock it. Halfords don't stock it. So I've given up. Elmer's, bit of a specialist hardware store here in Suffolk. They do mail order as well. Go and check them out. All sorts of tools in there. The place is crammed full of them. Even Machine Mart don't do them. Okay, so there's nothing more I can do. So I'm going to upload. So there you go. We're going to upload now. We've just got the brackets to put on. Let's get this into position. There it is. We've just got the brackets to put on. And I'd say we'll just have to stop at the moment. I've got stainless steel arms to make with the rose joints, but that's for next week. And I've got to get some more of this metal alley tomorrow, a bit of luck, so I can make the 2 folding sides. A little concerned about the bases that are going down because they're really heavy. They're not light. I'm going to be making this top heavy the rate I'm going, and it's not good. So we'll assess that, and if it's going to be a problem, we won't put them on. We'll just have to go with a bit of plywood or something. I'd love some checker plate, but I can't find any second hand anywhere. So that's it. Tomorrow I will do another video for the weekend. Hopefully that'll be uploaded on Sunday evening. That will be one of the solar panels being wired into the batteries, plus a review on a solar panel controller. And if I get time, I'll do a review on the 10-inch disc cutting tool from Evolution that just recently come through the post, because I've got to use that Monday with the wire brush if I go with that aluminium that I've been speaking about. So, but this we won't know. So hopefully there'll be 3 videos this weekend. I'm spoiling you lot. So you know what I'm saying. Click like buttons, please. Begging you. Click like buttons. Share if you think my content's worth sharing. I'm not sure if anyone is actually sharing. The numbers are pretty low, but I think it's just because people are fed up of YouTube. And my old van, that's dragging on a bit now, isn't it? So yeah, catch you next week or weekend. Bye.